Mr. President, we commend the Russian Federation for proposing to the General Assembly the holding of this special solemn session. The Second World War was the most devastating conflict ever witnessed in history. Today, we gather in this hall to honor the memory of all those who perished in that heroic struggle for peace, justice, and human dignity. We also gather to remind ourselves of our shared responsibility to avoid that the world ever endures such a tragedy again. Mr. President, back in 1942, Brazil joined the Allies and actively supported them by providing both critical air and naval bases in addition to supplies and strategic materials. More importantly, in 1944, Brazil deployed an expeditionary force of over 25,000 troops to the European battlefront. Many Brazilians died in this endeavor. While war was still raging, we took interest in diplomatic efforts designed to establish a new international organization to replace the old League of Nations. We participated actively in the San Francisco Conference and became a founding member of the United Nations. This organization was created to save successive generations from the scourge of war. Maintaining international peace and security remains one of its core functions in the international multilateral system built after the war. However, the United Nations was meant to be and is much more than this. It has become the most powerful instrument at the disposal of the international community for the promotion of a broad set of values, principles, norms, and institutions in the service of peace, development, and human rights. For millions of people, it was and still is the difference between life and death. It is true that not all of the expectations of 1945 have been met. Continued efforts to improve the United Nations are certainly needed, including as a tribute to the ultimate sacrifice made by millions in the Second World War. This should not, however, efface the unique and irreplaceable role the United Nations plays and will continue to play in so many domains. It is to those who perished in the Second World War, to those whom the United Nations helped to save since then, and all those whom we sadly failed to save, that we should be held accountable. For them, we must all renew our commitment to the purposes and principles of this organization. I thank you, Mr. President.